If nothing in your life feels exciting or interesting anymore, and it feels like you're just moving from one day to the next, you've probably heard the usual advice. Find a hobby, start a passion project, find your purpose. But I don't think the problem is that you haven't found the right thing yet. I think your mind has gotten really good at running the life that you already have. Over the next 15 minutes, I want to help you start thinking in a way that you probably haven't for a while. I'm going to give you questions specifically designed to get you out of maintenance mode and give your mind somewhere new to go. And if you actually participate, by the end, you should have a clear idea of what you want, what still makes you feel alive, and at least one thing you can do to follow and to take action on that. And look, hey, just to be clear, if you're experiencing a persistent loss of interest, or you think depression or another health issue is involved, this isn't a replacement for getting professional help. I'm specifically talking about the patterns of routine and reflection. So we're going to start by doing the opposite of what your mind probably does on most days. I'm not going to ask you what needs fixed. I'm not going to ask you what you're behind on or what goal you're working toward. I want you to forget all that for a minute, because we're going to give your mind somewhere to go. I want you to start thinking about, what have you stopped allowing yourself to want? Because we've already talked about maintenance mode. Most days, your mind is asking questions about what needs to get done and what problem needs to be solved and what responsibility needs your attention next. For the next few minutes, I don't want you thinking about what's realistic. I don't want you thinking about what your schedule allows, because those are the questions that your current life already is answering. I want you to ask a question that gives your mind somewhere new to go. What do you want more of in your life that you haven't been giving yourself permission to want? What do you want to feel more often? What do you want to spend more time doing? What part of yourself do you want to express more? And don't immediately turn this into a goal. You don't need to write the usual, I need to start a business, or I need to move somewhere new. Try to stay underneath that. Try to reflect underneath that a bit. Maybe what you want is more freedom, more creativity, or more adventure, more connection, more confidence. There is no right answer here. I'm asking you what you actually want more of, not what you think you're supposed to want. So give yourself a minute or a couple minutes. And if you need longer, pause the video. I'll keep this question up. I'll play some music, and then I'll come back. Now look at what you wrote. And I want to push you a little further, because there's a good chance that part of you immediately started explaining and think about why some of those things aren't realistic. That's that same pattern that we're trying to interrupt. So let's borrow perspective of someone who isn't limited by what you believe today. So now what I want you to do is I want you to imagine yourself 1 year from now. You followed some of what you just wrote. You took yourself seriously or made courageous decisions. Life didn't transform overnight, but you stopped ignoring these things that you claim matter to you. Now answer this. What does that version of you believe is possible that you don't fully believe yet? What would that version tell you to stop ignoring? What would they tell you to take more seriously? And what would feel normal to them that still feels far away to you? And if it helps, write the answer from their perspective, from your future self, from someone who's already there. Start with something like, listen, it's me from your future. It's me 1 year from now or 5 years from now. Here's what I want you to know. Like, write as that person, imagine it, and let them answer. It doesn't have to be profound. Just see where your mind goes when you come from this place. I'll put some music on. I'll leave this question up. Reflect, write as long as you need to, and come back to it anytime. So this is what I mean by thinking differently. We haven't solved anything yet. We haven't created a 5-year plan. We simply stopped asking your mind to repeat what it already knows. You've given it permission to imagine something outside your current patterns. Now onto the next shift, because there's a problem with possibility. You can imagine almost anything. But how do you know which ideas are actually yours? Which ones matter and which ones are worth following? This is where I think inspiration becomes very useful, because your life probably has already given you signals about what wakes something up inside of you. And we just need to learn to notice them. Hey, real quick, if you're enjoying this reflective type format, let me know below. I'd love to know if you like this and if you'd want more of it. Now we've opened up possibility. But you can imagine 100 different versions of your life. So how do you know which direction actually means something to you? I think one of the best places is to look at moments where something already gets a response from you. Because even if your life has felt dull lately, there are probably still moments, things you see where something breaks through, where there's a feeling that isn't dullness. You see someone living in a certain way. You're deep diving into an area of interest. You lose time on something. You may even think, man, if I could just do this all the time. So those moments of inspiration, curiosity, or even envy are worth paying attention to. So what has made you feel more alive lately, even for a moment? What pulled your attention in? Think about how much time you spend on consuming different things. Like, where's your attention getting grabbed? Who or what inspired you? When did you feel curious, energized, or fully engaged? So reflect on that for a second or a minute. And I'll leave the slide up. Now, if somebody inspires you, ask yourself, what exactly about them are you responding to? If you keep thinking about starting a business, maybe it's not really the business. Maybe it's the freedom or the idea of creation or figuring out hard problems without restrictions or other people telling you what to do, or the art of it. If you felt alive on a trip, maybe it wasn't the vacation. Maybe it's the novelty or the beauty you've observed. So the second question is, what is it about that moment that you actually want more of? So those things that inspire you, that you get sucked into, what quality did it represent? What is the part of you that came alive? Is it your creativity? Is your drive? And what might that feeling be pointing toward? And leave this up and let you reflect. We'll be back in a second. So hopefully you thought about that, because those are the signals. That's the signal. Something inside of you responded. And now that you've noticed it, there's one question left. Are you actually going to do something with it? Because a routine has a way of making a good realization or insight disappear quickly and get buried. So the last part is about turning a signal into proof. Now you've identified something that makes you feel more alive. But this is where most good reflections die, because you stop thinking differently, you go back to work, and whatever you just realized gets buried under familiar routines. So I don't want you to make a huge plan. I want you to give that signal some proof that you aren't just thinking differently, but you're becoming who you want to be. That it wasn't just words or a thought, it's an action, it's a becoming. So now ask yourself, what is one thing you can do in the next 7 days to follow this signal? What's something you can give 30 minutes of your full heart to? What could you try without it needing to become something bigger? What would make this real instead of just interesting? Keep it small. If you realize you miss creating, make something. If you miss adventure, go somewhere different. If you miss connection, call someone, find a group. If you realize there's an idea that you keep ignoring, give it 30 minutes just to sit with it, to think it through, to turn over the angles. You don't need to know where it leads. The point is just to respond to the feeling and the signal. Because every time you notice one of these signals and actually act on it, you're giving yourself evidence that this part of you still matters, that it's still real. So I'm going to let you reflect on this for a few minutes. I'll leave the question up and I'll be back in a second. Now, let's make it real. Let's make it actionable so you leave here with some precision. I'm going to open this question up for you to fill in the blank. So this week, when will you do it? What would make it impossible to avoid? Just think it through. And when you do this, when you actually put a plan down, you're showing commitment. And that commitment is going to give you the evidence to not only change your identity, but give yourself proof that you are still alive, that there is still something inside you worth pursuing. And that's really the whole exercise. You started by asking yourself what you've stopped allowing yourself to want. Then you look for moments that still make you feel alive. And now you've given one of those signals somewhere to go. That might sound small, but that's the point. So if you feel like you've lost your spark, or life isn't interesting anymore, or you're moving from one day to the next, I don't think that automatically means you need something new. You may have just fallen into maintenance mode. Your mind gets really good at asking the same questions, solving the same problems, and keeping the life that you already have running. And when you stop asking new questions, you stop giving yourself a chance to find new answers. You stop asking what you want, what could be possible, what still wakes something up in you. So I'd encourage you to come back to this. Maybe not every day, but whenever you notice yourself just passing time, grab a coffee, open the presentation in the Becoming Library below, and give yourself some space to think for a while. So thanks again. I hope to see you on the next one. Subscribe if you want, but more than anything, let me know below if this format worked for you, especially if you're someone who likes to reflect and think a little deeper. And just as one more reminder, this whole presentation is available on the Becoming Library in the link below. You can access it at any time, along with other videos, reflection, questions, and resources, all completely free. Thanks again for watching. Talk to you soon.